Nice and quiet. Pardon me. Quiet. Cool.
This is Josephine.
All right, just checking. Microphone. Yes, and I talk a lot too. So we're just waiting. They're just double counting our tickets before we leave. And what I'm going to do is just quickly count heads. It's just really important not to leave people behind and make sure that we know who's all on our bus. So I'll just be coming up the aisle. And if you have questions, hang on to them for a sec. One question will interrupt the whole counting process, I'm afraid to say. I'll have to start again. May, because last year's May it was extremely cold, but you know, we have not seen much sunshine. You have your dog thing?
This weather is continuing to follow us.
So just in case some of you missed my introductions, my name is Josephine, and this is our driver, Peter.
Hey!
We're typical Canadians. I was born in England. He was born in Lithuania. Where were you born? Latvia. And he grew up in Australia. Now he's Canadian who wants to be American. He lives half of the year in America, and he says, if I can become American, this is his aim in life. So you're meeting a couple of typical Canadians. Now we're just getting a really nice view of your ship here from the underside. Could do with a lick of paint if I do say so myself, right along where the ropes have been rubbing it. And you can see the horses are quite interested in the crowd here, and they're taking people on their trolley trips around Victoria. It's a lot of people on your ship, it must be. It's a crowded, big ship. Yes, well, we're just happy to welcome everybody into Victoria, and we're just being guided out of the port area. So with our trip today, we'll have a good long visit at the Butchart Gardens. We should have 1 hour and 45 minutes. The Butchart Gardens, in case some of you don't know, is actually located 14 miles north of here. So what we're going to be doing is taking you in a big circle, so hopefully we won't show you the same thing twice. And this is easily done in our city. We have wonderful things to see at all points along this tour, and it doesn't matter which side of the bus you're on. We've been having normally, a spring in Victoria is the most beautiful thing, and technically it's summer now for us. But like I say, we've had an unsettled kind of a spring and a lot of lower temperatures, some high winds, but hopefully we're into the good hot weather now. Looking out to your right hand side, you can see lots of people taking a walk on that very large concrete structure in front of you. That is actually a breakwater, and it was built in the year 1917, so quite a long time ago. And that was built to protect the inner harbor from all sorts of rogue waves. Now, at the very end of the tour, we're going to be showing you this inner harbor. We have this beautiful, small, protected harbor around which this very old little city was constructed. So it's very beautiful, historic, and of course we would love to get the cruise ships into the inner harbor, but it'd be kind of like jamming a cork into a wine bottle. We would never be able to get you out again. So you are actually at the outer harbor. Now we're going to be going en route to the Butchart Gardens along the beautiful waterfront of Victoria, showing you all the fine homes and gardens. And then we'll be briefly joining other traffic on the highway to finish up the distance to the gardens. We'll have a lovely visit at the gardens, including lots of time to shop and have a snack at their wonderful gift shop and restaurants. And then we'll be making our way more or less directly back to the ship. As soon as we come into the city, we'll be turning and heading down through beautiful Chinatown and the historic old town of Victoria. So we're getting lovely views of the Straits of Juan de Fuca. There's the breakwater where everyone's walking, getting a bit of a cool breeze. And the weather is very calm today. I'm surprised there's a number of vessels with their sails up, so they're obviously getting some wind out there. And the tide is relatively far out as well. Normally we would not be able to see these rocks that are exposed. You can, however, see the foreground of the Olympic Peninsula over there. That is the USA we're looking at, exactly 18 miles across the Straits of Juan de Fuca. So you can see the blue shadowy mountains in the background. With a bit of luck they'll clear, and we should be able to see the beautiful snowy peaks of that magnificent mountain chain. Now if you were to go between the two countries, you can see where the darker landmass ends and where Washington State begins. there is a sort of a channel approximately 80 miles in length, and it's got no harbors or ports or shelter or anything. It's just like a long tube, and it leads directly out to the Pacific Ocean. So as we go around, we'll probably see a freighter or two, and these are big freighters coming from the Asian markets, making their way to Seattle or the big city of Vancouver. Now we're going through James Bay right now. This is a sort of a retirement area of a retirement part of town and a retirement part of Canada. So lots and lots of elderly people live along here. This is actually the oldest residential neighborhood in our city. Victoria founded again 1842, so celebrating its 150th birthday this year. A lot of the early houses and hotels were all built around here in this neighborhood called James Bay. However, a lot of development has gone on over the years, and we have such new structures like this peach-colored building on our left-hand side. This is a luxury retirement residence called Somerset House. And then, of course, very ordinary apartment buildings built in the 1960s here. But we also have a large number of rental houses along here, so you find a lot of young families with children also residing in this neighborhood. Because it's what they call the rule of 5. You're 5 minutes to the ocean, 5 minutes to downtown, and 5 minutes to beautiful Beacon Hill Park. You don't need to have a car or anything. Now, I'm just going to ask Peter to slow down a touch as we approach this yellow and black house on our left-hand side. And you just get a glimpse of one of the old, beautiful houses from the early era, you know, of the 1800s. Can't really see this from a car, just from a bus. So Peter, slowing down, have a look off to your left, behind this yellow and black house, and you'll see the tower of a beautiful old home. That one is built approximately 1898. So we do have beautiful homes like that in Victoria, but just not so much in this neighborhood anymore because of all the development. But this neighborhood has its own charms. It has a little bit of a nickname due to the mix of elderly people and young families, and they call it James Bay, home of the newlywed and the nearly dead. I lived here for 15 years, and both of my sons actually thought the whole world was just full of grandmas and grandpas, and it was just an ideal place for them. They would go to the supermarket and hang around outside the gumball machine.
Wow, look at that.
Excellent. So just have a quick look on our left-hand side. You're passing Mile Zero. That is the Pacific terminus of the Trans-Canada Highway. It's approximately 4,700 miles to Mile Zero on the other side.
Wow.
That statue behind Mile Zero is the young man called Terry Fox from British Columbia, actually, who attempted to run across this great distance about 30 years ago to raise money for cancer research. And he didn't actually make it, but, excuse me, he didn't actually make it, but on the 25th anniversary of that run, he was honored by us by this wonderful statue. He was actually heading to this Mile Zero. And it's a great trip if ever, you know, you can afford the gas. And you have about 12 days, go from Mile Zero to Mile Zero. Now we're just letting some traffic pass, and we're making a quick 1-minute diversion through the park here before rejoining our waterfront route, because we want to show you Beacon Hill Park. This is a large 55-acre park right in the middle of the city, and we're just going to go down and see what's happening. School just got out, so lots of kids are out for the weekend, and you should see lots of people playing around. On our left-hand side, you can see a large sprinkling can. This is actually not that popular, and it's the 3rd largest sprinkling can in the world. If you're looking for sprinkling cans, you got to head back to the States. The big ones are there. Now that was a little paddling pool for about 87 years that the kids would just, you know, paddle in up to their knees. But then some busybody city official tested the waters and found there'd been too many ducks and seagulls in there. Thought, oh, it's too many germs, we're going to get sued. So they dug it out and put up the sprinkling can. So, you know, we're not too fond of that sprinkling can because we really don't like change. This is a city that we like things the way they are. Have a look on your left. There's some people practicing their putting on this lovely little putting green here. Everything is free in the park. You can't charge for anything in our public parks. And they have a gorgeous little petting zoo, so hopefully we might see a peacock or two. Oh, there is one right now. This petting zoo on our right-hand side is actually a lot of fun. It's by donation only. It'd be nice to see these peacocks actually open up their tail feathers because it is mating season right now. And the kids are welcome to go in there and play with the baby goats and the llamas, and everything is sort of hands-on. And they have here's a couple of peacocks, one in and one out of the field. And there's the kids playing with the goats there. And some of the goats are, the baby ones, they're like the size of cats, and they're very playful and they love kids. So it's just